He went to sleep speaking English. He woke up speaking a language he had never learned. At first, his family thought it was some kind of elaborate joke, a prank he was pulling. But their smiles quickly faded when they realized he couldn't understand them anymore. This wasn't a game. He wasn't faking it. He wasn't confused, he was fluent, and doctors had absolutely no explanation for what was happening. Before that night, he was a completely normal man. A husband, a father, living an ordinary life. He had never traveled to a foreign country. He had never taken a language class, not even in high school. He had zero interest in linguistics or learning other tongues. For his entire life, he had only spoken one language, English. Then, one evening, he went to bed with a mild headache. Nothing alarming, nothing out of the ordinary. There were no warning signs at all for the incredible event that was about to unfold. The next morning, everything changed. When he opened his mouth to wish his wife a good morning, the words that came out were wrong. The sounds were completely unfamiliar, a string of syllables he didn't recognize. His wife froze, staring at him in disbelief. The strangest part, his accent was perfect. She recorded his voice and played it for native speakers of the language. They confirmed it immediately. He sounded like he had been born and raised there. He wasn't translating in his head from English. He wasn't guessing words. It was clear he was thinking, dreaming, and existing in this new, unlearned language. His English, the only language he had ever known, was gone. Doctors rushed him in for scans and a battery of tests. An MRI to look at the structure of his brain. SCT scan to check for any bleeding or tumors. A full neurological workup to test every function. The results came back, and they only deepened the mystery. Everything was normal. No stroke, no physical trauma, no signs of brain damage whatsoever. His brain appeared perfectly healthy. Yet, when the doctors asked him questions in English, he struggled. The words wouldn't come. He would get frustrated, unable to form a simple sentence. But when a specialist spoke to him in this new language, his responses were immediate, effortless, and articulate. That's when they called in the linguists, the language experts. And they discovered something truly unsettling. He wasn't just speaking the language. He was speaking it with an incredible level of nuance. He used regional slang, specific idioms that you'd only hear in a small, particular area. His grammar was flawless, and he even used cultural expressions and references that aren't taught in textbooks. These are things you can only pick up by living somewhere, by being immersed in the culture for years. When they asked him the million-dollar question, "Where did you learn to speak like this?" he looked at them with honest confusion and answered, "I don't know. So, how is this even possible?" The doctor's first theory was a rare neurological condition called foreign accent syndrome. It's a real phenomenon where brain damage can cause a person's speech patterns to change, making them sound like they have a foreign accent, but this case was completely different. Patients with foreign accent syndrome don't suddenly become fluent in a new language. They just have an altered accent when speaking their native one. Other, more speculative theories began to emerge. Had he somehow unlocked hidden, dormant memories? Could extreme stress cause the brain to fundamentally rewire itself overnight? Or was it something far more unsettling? A memory that was never his to begin with? Months went by, and just as mysteriously as it had started, the phenomenon began to reverse. Slowly, his English started to return. The foreign language, which had dominated his mind for so long, began to fade away like a dream upon waking. But one strange thing remained. Even after he was back to speaking English full-time, he could still understand the other language perfectly whenever he heard it spoken. It was as if his brain had downloaded the software and never fully deleted it. So, it makes you ask a profound question. If the human brain can store and access a language it never learned, what else might be hiding inside the 3 pounds of tissue in our skulls? There's a fringe theory, one that most scientists dismiss, but it's an intriguing thought. Some people believe the brain isn't a storage device, not like a hard drive. They believe it's a receiver, an antenna, and sometimes it just tunes into the wrong frequency. This isn't just a story about a medical mystery or the complexities of language. It's a story about how little we truly understand the human mind, and the vast, uncharted territories that lie within each and every one of us. Thanks for watching. If you found this as fascinating as I did, consider subscribing for more stories that challenge what we think we know.